Right, hi guys, welcome back. Construction continues on the Fiesta. Not much, but what I have done is something. Right, now, you can see all the wheels there. I'll explain those in a moment. And as you can see, on the underneath the chassis, I've actually completed it now. Basically, when I left you, I'd just done the suspension on both the front and the rear. And basically what I've done, there was another suspension assembly that I had to put on, which actually connects to there. And what I did is I painted the suspension thing in black, the suspension assembly. Then it connected to the axles, and there's a little hole there, and it's made all four axles really stiff. So that's that. Then what I did is I put this big massive, what you could call it like a sump guard plate maybe. That was one massive plate there. Painted that, spray painted that in black with my primer, and then put it down. There was a couple of connecting tabs there. I think there was two here, and then there's two that go into the actual silver chassis. As you can see there, there's one at the end, and then there's one at the other end there. Then there's this silver plate. Again, I painted it in the silver that I painted the bottom chassis in. That was 1, 2, 3, 4 connectors. And then finally the rear one, that's all one big piece as well. And you can see just under there, let me just move that across so I can get my finger in. You can just make it out there. There's like a tube that goes onto a connecting tab underneath there, and that's the chassis. Right, now, also I've put the all four of the brake disc stroke brake pads on. The brake discs are painted the inside in silver, the actual disc itself in anthracite, both sides as you can see, and the actual brake pad stroke brake assembly, that's in like a metallic copper. It said to paint it in gold, but as you know, my gold is crap, and I have to stir it and stir it and stir it when it's blue, when it start with, and then even when it does get gold, it won't go on, it goes on like a wash. So I painted that in metallic copper. There's also a Brembo decal on there as well. There's one on each of the axles. I'll put a still on because you can't really make it out. You can probably just make out a red blur, but not the actual decal itself. Now to the wheels. Basically, there's four, and then there's a spare one. You can see those connecting tabs. That sits inside the car with the driver, and the co-driver sits in the boot. So you've got the four main wheels. That's where that little hole there is where it connects into the axle there. And basically, I shot the wheels themselves in white primer, in spray paint. I was going to think about painting it in that green, but then I realised Ken Block's car for WRC has white rims, and then his Gymkhana car, even though it's pretty much the same car, as the green rims, so I've done it for the WRC. Now you can just make out, I don't know if you can make out, there's the Ford oval logo there, and then there's a Oz, and then there's a racing decal to spell Oz Racing. Now what you're going to have to do, these decals are very tiny, so when you take them off the backing paper, you're going to have to use a magnifying glass to make sure you've got them the right way, because originally I put the racing one on back to front, and then I got my magnifying glass out, realised I'd done it wrong, and then had to put it back on again. So you need a magnifying glass for those as well. And then you've got the Michelin decal there and the Michelin decal there. What you'll have to do is you'll have to get some like decal glue, or do what I did with the clear gloss. Just put a smidgen of clear gloss on, then put your decal on, and then put your your clear gloss on the outer wall of the tyre, so it makes it all look the same. And that's that. Very intricate detailing with those decals because they're very tiny. But I got there in the end. I've also started work on the interior. Those are your accelerator, clutch and brake assembly. I've still got to put the pads for the pedals on there. I've still got to do that. there's a silver fire extinguisher with a very small decal on it. You got the co-driver's footrest. You got some kind of console there, and then you got these little switches there. Now those little switches are mounted onto a little another piece which is underneath this, because that is a separate piece. And then you get the one with the switches on first. You put that in first, then you put this on top of that. And then there's some kind of little tank on there. I've painted that in black. But that's pretty much where I'm sitting, guys. Stay with me. Right, hi guys, welcome back. I've done a bit more work on the Fiesta, not much but a bit. I'll start. You've got the gear shift lever, which is semi-automatic, which is painted in silver, and then you've got the handle, which is black. I've also gone ahead and put the 3 pedals in now. I've painted those in silver and then put a little drop of black on to simulate the rubber foot pieces on there. I've also done the handbrake as well. You can just make it out. You've got the assembly there and the handbrake itself, that's painted in black. You know about the console and the driver and co-driver footrest. Now, one thing I wanted to address was the spare wheel, the spare tyre. Now, if you look on the plans, let me just move that out of the way. If you look on the plans, it tells you to glue it in there. Then you do all that. Then finally it tells you to put the clip on, the ratchet clip, and then the ratchet straps. Why didn't it tell you to put that on there? Because basically what I did is I glued the bloody tyre in, realised I've got to do that. So what I had to do is I had to drill from underneath to loosen the tyre up, because I'd already glued it down. And basically what I've done is you've got the ratchet clip there, which is photo etched, so you fold it down. Then you've got this blue thread, which also doubles as seat belts if you didn't want to use the decals. And basically I took the tyre off, turned it upside down, glued that underneath so it sits in the bottom of the underneath of the rear, the rim. Then I've also used, there's another photo etch clip which actually looks like the outer of the Superman logo, you know, the triangle before the S. And basically you get your strapping, put a bit of super glue in. I used a file and tweezers to squeeze it on, make a secure fit. And then I got the other 2 pieces of strapping on the angled of the clip, and again put it round, super glued it, held it down with the tweezers, and on the other side, and then basically done it diagonally and then glued it to the inside of the rim of the tyre. Then I glued the tyre back down. So why couldn't I put that when you put that? Right, now that's sorted. As you can see as well, I've also assembled the driver and the co-driver. He actually should be sitting like that. I've give him a shot of white primer. Now unfortunately with the seat belts I haven't got no blue. I tried to mix the night blue with the white, I couldn't do it. So I bought some blue paint to match that, some gloss blue. I'm going to wait for that to arrive. Once that's arrived I can start painting the seat belts on and then doing the race suit in the Monster World Rally Team colours. I've also gone ahead and done the 2 bucket seats as well. There's a bit that glues in on the side. You need to drill a hole through and put that in, glue it into place. I've also gone ahead and put the Ricardo decals on. There's also one there as well, and one on the other side there, and there's one on the back. Now with the seats it wanted me to use this like carbon fibre looking decal, and you got to fold it in. I thought screw that, so I just got the seats, got my black primer and give them a quick shot. Now what I'm going to try and do is demonstrate this very quickly. Put the driver in there. Oh, the pedals of doing this one-handed. That's it, there we go. Now, as you can see, the driver's fitting perfect. Now, the one thing I was worried about with the driver was the foot pedals. I thought it might be a bit too long, but as you can see, the rests on the foot pedals very, very nicely. And also, while I'm waiting for the blue for the seat belts to arrive, I've done a bit of construction on the actual roll cage, the first part of the roll cage, and I've also done the steering wheel ready to be mounted once the paint arrives and I can paint the figures. Well, that's where I'm sitting, guys. Stay with me. Hi guys, welcome back. And as you can see, the co-driver and the driver figures are now painted. Let me just grab this. And as you can see on the face there, the chem block figure, it's all flesh painted. And then I've painted the helmet, very intricately gone round when I overpainted the pink, just to make sure I got it all in with the anthracite. Also on the helmet, as you can see, a very feeble attempt at making the monster logo. But it's not too bad, to be honest, on the other side as well, as you can see there. And then what I did on Ken, on the 2011 race suit, on the helmet he had a 43 on the helmet. So basically what I did is I went round and drew a 43 on with a pencil, and then went round with my anthracite paint to round it out. It's not the best job in the world, but as you can see, I've done it on both the co-driver and the driver helmets now. I've also tried to recreate the race suits with the drip effect on with the anthracite, as you can see. I've also, you can just make it there on the arm there and on the other side there. I put some green on because that's how his race suit is, and on the legs there as well you can just make out the green there as well. Boots are in anthracite as well, and you can probably just make out the seat belts and the clips, and the 5-point harness are painted in silver, as you can see there. Also with the gloves, Chembox gloves on the top, then black anthracite, and on the bottom them white. So that's what I've done there. Now on the co-driver, as you can see, his face in the full face helmet is in the flesh, and his hands are flesh as well, because co-drivers don't wear gloves because they need to grip the notepad with the directions on for the various turns, you know, 4 left, hairpin right, 300, 2 left, and all that. I've also painted the binding, the page binding, in silver. I've also put a drop of super glue in the hands to give it because it will fall down onto his lap, so I'll put a drop of super glue just to give it that raised effect, as you can see. Now, I don't know if you can make that out, but on the pad that's facing the co-driver, I've just put some directions on there in pencil, and then so he can tell the driver what turns are coming up next. And also the channel there, I've got to fill that in and then glue into the seat. But the race suits, I'm all done. Stay with me, guys. Stay tuned.